Hi there. In this video, you would learn to build a complete e-commerce website using React and Tailwind CSS from scratch. We'll start by building a navigation bar, which is going to be fixed. We'll build the hero section, which is going to be stunning. We're going to build the category section that will allow users to filter products based on different category of their choice. Next, we're going to build the product listing section, which is where we're going to display all the products that we have for this e-commerce website. Each of the products will be in a card, and in each card we're going to have the image of the product, the name of the product, the price, and then the button to add to carts. Also, we're going to build the footer section that will be at the bottom of all pages. Next, we'll create a fully functional cart section. So to access the cart page, you're going to click on the cart icon and the navigation bar. Right now, our cart is empty. You can see the display right here. Your cart is empty. So to add item to cart, we're going to click on the button, and you can see right here that an item has been added to cart. So you're going to see the details of the item in the cart page. Also, we're going to build the product details page where user is going to get to see more details about the product. So to see the details about the product, you're going to click on the product card. So let's say we want to see details of this product. We'll click on this card, and then we're going to get details of the product. It leads us to the page where we see more details of the product. You see a bolder picture of the product, the name of the product, the price, description, and also a button to add to cart. So we're going to be reading all of this in this tutorial. Okay, let's get to it. So first, we'll start with the nav bar. Like I said earlier, the navigation bar is going to be fixed and it's going to be at the top of all pages. So on the cart page, we have the navigation bar. In the product details page, we have the navigation bar, right? Same thing with the footer section, which is going to be at the bottom of all pages. This is the product details page. We have our navigation bar here and we have the footer at the bottom. On the cart page as well, we have the navigation bar and also the footer. So we're going to start by building the navigation bar. Then we'll build this stunning hero section here. On the left hand side, we have this description right here, and on the right hand side, we have the image here. Then we're going to build the category section, which is where user is going to filter products based on the category of their choice. So we have different categories here. We have for all categories, we have the ladies categories, men categories, kids, and unisex. Right here in the collection section, which is our products listing section, we have all products of different categories being displayed, right? So if I filter based on all this category, only the products that match this category will be displayed here. So let's say I want to see only products relating in the category of ladies, and I click on this now. You're going to see that we only have products that are for ladies being displayed, right? Let's say we want to see for men only men's products will be displayed. So these three items match the category. If I click on kids, we're going to see kids section being displayed, and if I click on unisex, the products that will be displayed would be for unisex only, and if I click on all the products will be displayed. Okay, so this is what we have. This is what we're going to be building as well. Then for each of the products, we have the image, the name, the price, and then a button to add to cart. Now I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can see right here on the cart icon in the navigation bar, as I'm adding products, it's reflecting right here that we have 5 products in the cart. So the quantity of the item being added to the cart is displayed on top of the cart icon, which is right here. Let me reload now. Right now we have nothing on the icon, right? So I'm going to re-add 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to reload again. Let me add one small 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So now let's click on this cart icon, which is going to lead us to the cart page. Now we're on the cart page, right? Okay, so I added this twice. I added this twice as well. So on the cart page, we have the shopping cart. We have the number of items that we have in the cart. We have this icon right here to delete the entire cart item. If I click on this now, all the items that are added to the cart has been deleted. Now we're getting this, your cart is empty. Okay, so let me head back and add this item to carts. So I've added 2 items in the cart. We have the product description, the quantity, the price, and the total. So in the product description, we have the image of the product that's been added to cart. We have the name of the product. We have this icon to remove this specific product. Also, we have the quantity control where you can see the number of items. You can increase the quantity and you can decrease the quantity. we have the price and we have the total. Let's say we have two items here. This is going to be $90, right? The price is 45. We have two items and it gives us 90. Now for the second item, I can increase the quantity as well. You can see right here, the price does not change, but the total is going to change. So how we get in the total, if we multiply the price by the quantity, so 45 by 3 is 135. Now we have the cart summary on the right section, which is displaying the number of items that we have, the subtotal, the shipping fee, and the total cost. Okay, so this is what we have. Now let's say I want to remove this specific item. I'm just going to click on this and that item has been removed. If I click on this as well, this item has been removed. Okay, so we're going to learn to build this in this tutorial. Now let's say we want to view the detail of these products. Now I'm just going to click on the image. You see right here we have the image, we have the name, the price, we have the description, and also if I want to add this item to cart, all I need to do is click on this icon and the item will be added to cart. And if we check the cart, you're going to see that the item has been added to cart. Okay, so this is it right here. I can increase, I can decrease. The quantity is going to reflect on the total, and we're going to see all of that right here. So this is what we're going to be building in this tutorial. All right, let's get started. So you start by opening your code editor. I'm going to be using VS Code for this project, and then we're going to navigate to terminal, click on new terminal. Then on the terminal, you change directory to desktop. We'll be creating our project folder in the desktop on the terminal. So we're going to type in npm create bits at latest. The name of the project is Ecommerce frontend with category. So I'm going to have hyphen, then templates, React, then press enter, and then you'll be asked if you want to use roll down bytes. So I'm going to select yes. Next is to install with npm and start now. I'm just going to select no, and then we'll go through the traditional process. So first we change directory to e-commerce front category React, and then you type in npm install to install React dependencies. Ensure you're connected to the internet when you're doing this. So React package has been installed. So we'll type in code space full stop, then press enter. This is going to open your project folder in a new window in VS Code. So you see this right now coming up. So this is the project folder right here, e-commerce frontend React. So I'm going to close this now. And then let me expand this. Okay. And I'm going to reduce this. So we'll close the previous. Okay, so now we have all the node modules, public folder, source folder, git signal, every single thing is right here. So now you need to navigate to terminal, open a new terminal for this new project folder. I'm going to be using git bash terminal. You can use PowerShell as well. And then we're going to type in npm run dev. So this is going to start the server so that we can see what we're building in our local browser. So right here, this is the local browser link. So if you click on this now, it's going to lead you to browser. This is the default React app. The counter button is working, everything is working perfectly well. Okay, so the next thing we need to do now is clean up. So in our source folder, I'm going to delete app.css. We're not going to use it for this project folder. And then I'll have the GSX as well. I'm going to delete everything we have in here. So Control A, delete. Then you're going to type in this REFC. This is to create React snippets. Okay, so if this does not work for you, if you type in RFC, you should see this React arrow function export component. Okay, so if you click it, it's going to create React snippets for you. If that doesn't work, that means you don't have this extension installed. You need this extension ex7 plus react/redux/react native snippets extension. Do how to install this extension so you can create React snippets. Okay, so that's done now. Also, index.css, we're going to delete every single thing that we have there. So Control A, backspace. So we've deleted everything that we have there now. Okay, so right here where we have this app, I'm just going to use an h1 tag here. Then I'm going to type in this. Subscribe to my channel. This is a reminder for you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Okay, you can see this is what we have right here. Subscribe to my channel. Okay, so this is working well. Now we're going to install Tailwind CSS because we're going to be styling with Tailwind. So just type in tailwindcss.com and then it will lead you to the official Tailwind CSS website. Once you're there, click on Docs, and then we're working with installation. That's what we're doing right now. So get started with Tailwind CSS, the installation. So our framework is Fits. Okay, and then this is the process to install Tailwind CSS for React. So the first step is to create our project, which we've already done. The second step is to install Tailwind CSS. So we're going to copy this line of code and then we'll paste it on our terminal. Right now the terminal is on, our server is working, so we're going to stop it. So to stop it, you're going to type Ctrl C, and then the server will stop running. So we'll paste, we'll just copy it, and then I'll paste it here. And then step 3, configure the Vite plugin. So we'll copy this line of code right here. And then we're going to open our vite.config.js and then paste it here. The next line is this. Copy this and then you paste it right here. After React, type comma, press enter, and then paste that. Then delete the comma that comes with it. Okay, so this is what your vite.config.js should look like. So while this is still installing, we'll move on to the fourth step, which is to import Tailwind CSS. So we're going to add Tailwind CSS to our global CSS. So I'll copy this and then I'm going to paste it in index.css. Paste it right here. Okay, so that is done. Next step is to start our build process, which is to start our server and then start styling with Tailwind. Okay, so Tailwind has been installed. If you check package.json, we should see it right here in our dependencies, Tailwind/Vite, Tailwind CSS version 4.1.18. Okay, so that is installed. Now let's try styling. So where we have this h1 tag, I type in this class name, text size to, let's say 2 Excel. And then text, let's give it a color of green, 400. Okay, you can see that there's a color code right here. Okay, so let's restart our server and let's see what we have. So we're going to type in npm run dev, press enter. Okay, so our server is ready. I'm going to access this now. I'll close the previous one and you should see this. Subscribe to my channel and the color is green. Okay, so we've been able to install Tailwind CSS. Now the next thing we need to install is React icons. So we're going to install React icon and also React router DOM so that we can navigate between pages. For React icon, we want to be able to access icon from our React, and also for React router DOM, we want to be able to navigate between pages. We should be able to set up our routes. So just type in npmjs.com/package/react-icons with an S. Okay, so once you do that, we'll copy the installation code and then we'll paste it in our terminal. Our server is currently on. I don't want to stop the server, so I'm just going to open a new terminal and then I'm going to paste what I just copied in the new terminal. Press enter. While that is installing, we'll do the same for React router DOM. I'm going to copy the installation code and then I'm going to come right here and install. Okay, so this is still installing. So React icon has installed. Now React router DOM. Okay, so I'm going to close this now. Now for React icons, if you're wondering where we're going to be getting icons from, we're just going to type in React icons. Just search for React icons. And then you're going to see this website, react-icons.github.io. Click on it, and then it's going to lead you to this page where we can have access to several React icons. Okay, so you can just type in any icon of your choice, and then you're going to see lots of icons that will match what you just typed in. Okay, so this is for user icon. Let's say I need a card icon. These are several icons that match this. Okay, so if you want to access any of them, just click on it, the one that you prefer, just click, and then it's going to open up like this. Then you copy the first line of code, paste it, and then you copy the tag and use it where you want to use it. You're going to see it in action soon. So that is for React icons. Okay, so now that we have React icon installed, if you check package.json in our dependencies, we have React icon, React router DOM, and then Tailwind CSS installed. Okay, so we have all this already. Now we can start building our project. So the first step is to get all the images that we're going to use for this e-commerce website, and also we need the data. So I already have the data. I'm going to be sharing the GitHub link in the description. So do well to check the description box for the GitHub link. And also, if you want to get the entire source code without having to watch the entire tutorial, there's a link as well to send me a DM on WhatsApp, and then you can get it for a small fee. Okay, so we need the images and the data. So I'm just going to copy and paste it right now. So I'm going to pause this video to do that. So I've copied all the images right here. You can see all the images that we have. Okay, and then the data as well. Now let's go through the data. I'm going to close the terminal so we can go through the data. So I've imported all of the images that we're using for this project from clothes 1 to clothes 17. So we have 17 clothes. And then we have the array of objects for our category item. Remember that users are able to filter based on category of their choice. So I created an array of objects for category item. So the first object here is for all category. So we have the category title, and then we have the category name. Then we have the image that is representing the category on the front end. And this is the image that is assigned to this image key. Now for the second object, this is a category title, category for ladies, the image clothes 6, the third object, category title for men, the image clothes 8, fourth category for kids, the image clothes 10, fifth category for unisex, image clothes 7. Okay, so this has already been done. Now for our product data, which is what we're going to be displaying basically in each product card, right? So the product data is for product listing. I've created an array of objects representing each product. Okay, so this is the first product right here. This object that we see here represents the products, each product. So this is the first product. We have the ID to be 1. We have the image here, we've assigned image. We have the name of the product. We have the price of the product. We have the category of the product, and we have the description of the product. Okay, so what you see right here is what will be displayed in a product card, is the detail of a particular product. Now this is another product right here. The ID is 2, the image is right here, the name of the product is right here, the price is right here, the category is right here, and the description is right here. Now to uniquely identify each of the products, we have assigned an ID to it. So different products, different ID. So we're uniquely identifying each product based on their ID. So the ID for this one, the ID for the second product is 2, the ID for the third product is 3, the ID for the fourth product is 4, and so on and so forth. So that's how we have it right here, down to the 17th product. Okay, so this is the product data that we're going to be using. For this project, this is the category item, and I've imported all of this, and you're going to get the image as well in the asset folder. So now that we have the images that we're using, we have the data that we're going to be working with, we can now start building the main project. So the first step here is to create our components. So we'll create the components folder, and also we'll create the pages folder. So for the components, we're going to create the navigation bar file. So we'll have navbar.jsx, and now we'll create the React snippets that I said earlier. So you're going to type in refc. Once you type in refc, it might take a while, and then you're going to see this prompt right here. So press enter is going to create React snippet for you. After the navigation bar, in the same component folder, we'll create our hero. So hero.jsx refc, press enter, and then we'll have the category. Or no, we're going to have the product lists. So we'll have the category in the product list. So product list dot GSX REFC to create React snippets. We're going to create the footer file. So footer.jsx REFC press enter. So we've created the component. Now for our pages, we're going to create the cart page. So cart.jsx REFC as well to create React snippets. And then we'll create the home page. Oh, my mouse is acting up. We'll create the home page .gsx RFC to create React snippets, and also we'll create the product details page. So we have product details .gsx RFC as well. Then we'll create another folder in the source folder, and the folder will be our context folder. In the context folder, we're going to create a file, and I'll name the file short contexts.gsx. I'm not going to type in anything yet, but we're going to come back to this later. Okay, so I'm just going to close every single thing that we have here. And now we can set up how we want our application to look like. So I'm going to delete this H1. I'll delete everything that we have here. And then we're going to set up what we want our application to look like. So for the application, at the top of all the pages, we want the navbar to be at the top. So I'm going to mount navbar right here. And then I'm going to close the navigation bar. Don't forget to import the navbar. So we import navbar from /component/navbar. So our navigation bar is in component folder, so that's why we have it here. That is at the top of all pages. Then at the bottom of all the pages, we want to have our footer section right here. Our footer is also in the component, so instead of having to retype all this, right? Instead of having to retype every single thing that we have here, we can just copy and then paste. So we're going to change this. So I'll do Ctrl G to select that. So change this to footer. It's still the same thing, right? So we have the navbar at the top of all pages, footer at the bottom of all pages, and then in between this is where we're going to have our own page, cart page. So now we're going to set up our route. So right here, we'll set up routes. So we want to set up the routes now so that we can navigate between pages. We have our navbar at the top of all pages, footer will be at the bottom of all pages. So we're setting up our routes, and we're getting this route from React Router DOM. So route with an S, self-closing, we'll close the tag, and then we'll start the setup. So for the first route without an S, we'll set the path. So this will take /, then we'll mount our component. So we have element be equal to, we'll mount home page right here. Then we'll use a self-closing tag here. So we'll set up this route here. We'll add it right here as well. Okay, because we're getting route from React Router. So we'll set up the route for home page. Next would be for the cart page. So we'll have route. We'll set the path /cart element. Would mount the cart page right here. Next is to set up the route for our product details page, and this route is not going to be like this or this. We're going to set up a dynamic route because for each product they have different details, right? If we check this data that we have here in our product data, this is a product right here, right? And this product has its own details. If we now want to check the product details page, a page where we can see every single thing about this product. You know, in the product listing section, we can only see the product card, and in product card, we only have the image, the name, and the price. Okay, but in the product details page, we're going to have the image, name, price, category, description. Now we have different products for different. We have different products, right? And they have different details. So we need to be able to ensure that the page that we're viewing is the details that we're seeing on a particular page is for the products that we truly want to see. So that's why we're going to be setting up a dynamic route here. So route, set up the path, and here is where the dynamic route comes in. So slash products slash colon ID elements. We're going to render our products details page. Now, to uniquely identify each of the products, we're using ID, and that is what is unique about each of these products. The ID is unique to the product. No two ID will have the same value. The ID here is 1, the ID is 2, the ID here is 3. So ID is unique to each product object. We can have the same image for different products. We can have the same name for different products. In short, we can have the same price for different products, like it is here. The same price here, 45, the same price that we have here, 45, right? We can have the same category for different products, but to uniquely identify them, we're using ID because the ID is unique to each product object. So that is why we're setting up a dynamic route here so that we can uniquely identify each of the products where we want to view the pages of their product from our product listing page. Okay, so we've set up this route now, and what we should be seeing right here, let me reload. Okay, so we're running into an error. If we inspect in our console, we should see reference error. Okay, home page is not defined. We have to define everything that we just set up. So now we have that. Import home page from pages folder slash home page. Then we need to do the same for cart page dot forward slash pages slash cart. Then import product details page from dot forward slash pages slash product details. Okay, and also another thing we need to do in our main.gss, I'm going to comment this out, comments this out, comments this out, comments this, and comments this. We're going to wrap our application with browser router so that we can navigate between pages in our application. So right here we have browser router from React Router DOM. So we'll wrap our application and paste this right here. So we're wrapping. So we'll wrap our application with browser router so that we can navigate between pages. So this our route is going to work now. So you can see right here. Let me close this console. The first thing you're going to see is the navigation bar that will be on top of our pages. Then the home page is what we're going to see next, and the footer that will be at the bottom of our pages, right? So the home page is in between. Now let's say we want to view the cart page. So slash cart. If I press enter, you're going to see we don't have home page no more. We only have cart page, right? So back to our home page. Now let us create our navigation bar. So now we're going to start creating a project. We'll start with the navigation bar. So for our nav bar now, I'm going to delete this. We're going to have the div type for the header. Only put here would be the name. Then we'll have our navigation menu, which will be in form of a list. So then we'll have 4 list items. In the first one, we'll have home, shop, contacts, and we should have about here. After the navigation menu, we're going to have our icons. So we use a div tag right here. So inside this div tag, we have a div tag for the cat icon and the quantity, and then we're going to have the next icon for the user icon. So I'm just going to come right here. I'm going to search cards, and then you can just select whichever icon of your choice, right? So I'm going to be using, let's see, which icon would suit this project. Let's use this icon right here. So I'll copy this, and then I'll come paste it here, and then I'm going to copy this as well, and I'll paste it where I need it. Like I'll paste it here. Okay. And then after this div, we want to have the user icon. Another way to have access to React icon is by typing the name of the icon. But I'll advise you to do this if you know what the icon looks like. You have an idea of what the icon looks like, right? So let's say I want to use the user icon. I'm just going to type in user. It might take a while, like a few seconds. React is going to suggest a list of icons that would match this keyword user that I have typed, and then you can just select from it. You can see right here I have several icons. So use this only when you know what the icon looks like. So I know what this icon looks like. So I'm just going to select this icon, and then I'm going to close it. And if you see, this would be imported. Okay. If you don't know what it looks like, come back right here, search for user, and then you're going to get a list of icons, different icons that you can just select from. But if you know the particular icon, you know what it looks like, just come over here, type it in, and then choose from what React has selected for you. Okay, after the cat icon, we're going to have the quantity, and that is later. Okay, so this is our navigation bar. Now, if you come right here, this is what the navigation bar looks like currently. So we're going to style, and we're going to make it look much more presentable. Okay, so before styling, we need to ensure that our navigation bar is fixed, right? So we want to have a fixed nav bar such that the navigation bar always, no matter how the user scrolls, the navigation bar will be always at the top. You always see it at the top of any page. So right here, we're going to create a state variable that's going to undo that, that's going to track whether the user has scrolled to a certain point, and a setter function that is going to update the variable. Okay, so const, the state variable would be named is scrolled. Setter function set is scrolled, and by default we're going to initialize this with false. Okay, we've created a state variable to track whether the user scrolled past a certain point. Now we're going to use effects. Inside this use effects is where the main logic will be. So we need to create the function that runs whenever the user scrolls. So what the function is going to do is to fix the navigation bar at the top. So I'm going to name the function undo scroll. It's going to be an arrow function. Now we want to check if the vertical scroll position is greater than 100 pixels. Then we're going to update is scrolled to true. You know, right now is scrolled is set to false, this state variable here. So we want to update it to true if the vertical scroll position is greater than 100 pixels. That means if the user scrolls more than 100 pixels, we want to update this to true. Okay, so right here, and to update the state variable, we're going to be using the setter function. So we're going to have set is scrolled. So we'll check if window dot scroll on y-axis, that is vertically, if the user scrolls vertically is greater than 100, then this will be set to true. Next step, after this function, we're now going to attach scroll event listener when the component mounts. So we're going to have window dot add event listener scroll, or attach scroll, then we'll call our undo scroll function. Okay, after that is done, we're now going to create a cleanup function which is going to remove the event listener when the component unmounts. You know, we have this for when the component mounts. We are attaching scroll event listener when the component mounts. But now we're going to create a cleanup function for when the component unmounts to prevent memory leaks. So we're going to type in return window dots remove event listener. Then we'll detach the scroll that we attached to it and also the undo scroll. And then right here, we're going to pass an empty dependency array to ensure that the use effect only runs once when the component mounts. So we've created the function that's going to undo the scroll event when the user scrolls more than 100 pixels on y-axis. Then there's something to be done, right? And that is going to be done in our styling. So let's style now. We'll start with this div tag. So we're going to have a conditional styling here because we want to ensure that when the user scrolls more than 100 pixels, we want to do something. So we'll use a curly braces. So use our backtick. We want to set the position to fixed, the top to 0, the width will be set to full, Z index of 50, transition all. We'll set the duration to 500. Let me close this so that we can have a larger screen. Then, now for the conditional styling, we'll have our $sign, open our curly braces. Now we want to check if it's scrolled. That means if the user doesn't scroll, if scrolled is set to false. So if it's scrolled, we want to do this. If not, then we should do this, right? If it's scrolled, which is set to false, this right here, what we just did right here is using a ternary operator, right? So if it's scrolled is true, then we want to set the background to white, shadow, medium, and then padding of 4. If it isn't, then we want to set background to transparent, padding to be 6. And then let's continue styling, padding of 24, display should be flexed, justify between all items at the center. Okay, next thing we need to style is this div tag right here for the brand logo. We'll set the text size to 2XL. Font will be bold. Now, for the navigation menu, which is in form of a list, display should be flex. Space on the horizontal side should be 6. The text size should be large. The font, I'll set it to semi-bold. And everything should be uppercase. Now, for each of the list items, I'm going to style all of them together. So you do Control Alt, then the down arrow. We'll set cursor to pointer, transition. Then when you hover on it, you want to set background color to gray 500. Okay, so the next thing we need to style is this. So we'll set the display to flex, items, center, space on horizontal axis as well will still be 6. Then we have this div tag here. I'm going to set the position of this to relative. Then for the cat icon, text 3XL, cursor pointer. Okay, and then for the cat icon, text of 3XL as well, cursor pointer as well. Okay, so right now this is what the navigation bar looks like. Okay, so we can now work on the let's work on the footer so that it will be at the bottom. Or let's continue with the home page. Yes, let's work on the home page. So for the home page, we're going to have the hero section in our home page. We're going to have our product listing section in the home page. So we'll start with the hero section. So I'm going to close navigation bar. And then I'm going to open hero section. So for the hero section, we need to get the image that we're going to be using. We're going to be using this image right here. So I'm going to import the image. Import. I would name it in this component hero image from forward slash forward slash asset slash ml1 dot jpg. Okay, and then we'll start creating our hero section. So we'll create a div tag. Inside this div tag, we're going to have two div tags. We'll have the left section. We'll have a div here. And then we'll have the right section. We'll have a div right here. In the left section, we're going to have an h2 tag. We're going to have an h1, and then we're going to have a p tag. The h2 tag will take this, then the h1 tag will take this, and then the paragraph tag will take this. Okay, let me close this. Okay, that is for the left section. Now for the right section, inside this div tag is where we're going to have the image, and our image right here would take the hero image. Okay, now we're going to mount the, let me close the assets folder. We're going to mount our hero section in our home page. So I'm going to come right here, hero. So we'll mount hero section in the home page. So if I come right here, you see what we have. This is what we have now. Okay, so we're going to start the hero section now. We'll start with this div tag. Height is screen. We set display to flex direction, colon, items center, and we'll set the background color to be white. Then this div tag here as well, display flex, justify space between, items at the center, padding of 24 on the horizontal axis, gap of 4, we'll set the width to full, margin top of 24, max width will be screen, so I'm just going to close this now. Now for the left section, we'll set the max width to take half of the screen size. Then we'll set the margin top to 12. Now for our H2 tag, text of 3XL, the font will be set to semi-bold. Then for the H1 tag, set the text size to 6XL, font will be bold, margin top will set it to 3, then leading sites. This P tag that we have here, I'm going to set the text to large, text color will take gray 600, we'll set margin top of 4, then the div tag that we have here, the max width would take half of the screen size as well. The image, I'm going to set the width to 140 pixels, 1040 pixels. The height should take 500 pixels. Objects contain, margin top of 3. Okay, so this is suggesting that we can have it as width of 260 and also height of 125, so you can just do that. But right now, this is what we have in the hero section. Okay. Next thing is the product list. So I'm going to close the hero, close this as well. And then I'm going to open product list. So before we start creating our product list section, we're going to start with the shop context. So the shop context will be our context API. That means where we're going to be fetching our data from. So I want you to think of shop context as your app global store that keeps your application organized and centralized. So in this kind of project, this e-commerce project where we have product list, product details page, cart page, and they all need access to the same data, which is the product data and the cart data. Putting the data in a centralized place will make it easy for all the components to have access and update it easily. So we're going to be having our data right here in shop context. So every other component will just pull data from shop context without having to pass the data down as props. So let's start with shop context. So the first thing we need to do is to create the shop context itself. So we're going to have const shop context be equal to create context. And because we want every part of our application, every component and pages to have access to this shop context, we're going to use export so that every component can have access to shop context. Okay. After that is done, we need to import that data that we want to store in shop context. So I'm going to import product data from data file. So this is data file that we have here. So we're going to import product data from dot/data, this data file that we have here. So now we have the data in our shop context. We need to provide the shop context provider function. So we're going to have const shop context provider. We'll pass children component here, children as a parameter, and then we're going to export this shop context provider function. So we're going to have export default shop context provider. Okay, so now that this is done, the very next step is to start working on our data. So first, we need to create a state variable that is going to hold the product data and the setter function that will update whenever we make a change to this product data. So by default, we're going to initialize the state variable with product data. So right here, I'm going to have const products, which is a state variable, setter function set product will be equals to use states. We initialize with product data. So right here we'll have product data. Okay, this products with an S. The same way we have it here, product data. Right? So now our shop context is holding our products data. So every other component can have access to it. And to do this effectively, we need to return our shop context provider the values. So the values would be the state variable, the setup function, and every other function that we're going to have. So we need to provide the state and the function as context value so that other components can have access to it. So here, return open brackets shop context dot provider, and in between this we're going to pass children. Okay, and right here is where we're going to have the value. So value pass another curly braces. So we need the product state variable, which is what is holding this product data that we imported from this data file. So now every component and pages can have access to our products without having to pass it down as props. So this is done now. The next thing we need to do is to wrap our entire application with our shop context provider. So right here, we're going to have shop context provider, close the curly braces, and then we're just going to cut this, Ctrl X, and we'll paste it right here. So we've wrapped our entire application with shop context provider. So every component and pages in this application can have access to our shop context provider values. Okay, so that is done. Now we can now work on our product list. And for the product list, we're going to be pulling our data from shop context. And the data we're going to be using now is these products. Okay, so first we need to extract the value, that is pulling the value from shop context provider. So const products will be equals to use context to access the context value, shop context. Okay, so this is done now. Okay, so we can now start working on this product list UI. The first step is to create the header. The next step is to create the category section. And third is to create the product listing section. So we'll start with the header. I'll create a div tag here. I will have an h1 tag. The header here is shop by category, and that leads us to our category section. So create a div tag for this category section, and in the category we want to display a list that would be in form of an image. So before that, we need to first create a state variable that's going to track the category that we have, and a set of function that's going to update it if there's a change. So const category, then set of function set category. And by default, we're going to initialize our states with all category. Okay, in our data file here, we have different categories, right? And in our category items, we have this category, this category, this category, this category, and this category. So we're going to be working with all of this category. So back here now, we're initializing with all category. So by default, the category will be set to all, and all our product list will be displayed with no category filtered by default. Okay, so now to the category section. So we want to display our category as a list, and the image will be the forefront of the list. So we're going to have our list here. Let me just make this look okay. So we have the list right here. Now we want to look through each category item to display different categories. Okay, so we're going to have category item from data file, which is this right here. It has imported. If it doesn't, just manually type it. Okay, so category item dot map, then we'll pass item and then their index. Okay, so now we need to check if the current category is active. Is the active, that means the selected one. So we're going to have const is active. If it is the category and if it is the selected one, so item dot category title. Okay, we're checking if the active category is the current category and is the selected category. Okay, if it is, then we want to return our list item. For the list item, to uniquely identify each of them, we're going to have a key, and the key will be the index number, which is what we've passed right here, right? So now, inside this list contains the category card container, right? That is what the user is going to see. So we're now going to have a div tag, and then inside this div tag, we'll have an image and the div tag. Inside the div tag, we'll have a span tag, and the span tag will take item category title, the image would take the item dot image, okay, which is this image here is going to be representing each category. Okay, so that is what the card container will be, the category card container. I mean, now one important thing we need to put in place is to ensure that when the user click on a category, if it is already active, we will set to all. Otherwise, we need to set it to the selected category. Okay, so right here in the list, which is what we're going to be displaying, and that's what the user is going to be clicking on, like the image and this category item right here. We want to ensure that once the category is clicked, we display product based on that category, and if it isn't, we reset to all category. So here we would use the onClick method. We would call the set category function. So pass previous, then we would check if prev matches item dot category title, then it should reset to all. Otherwise, it should display item based on that category title. Okay. Okay, so now we need to style this category section before moving to the product listing section. So we'll start with this div tag right here. We'll set padding on horizontal, we'll set padding on the vertical axis, we'll set the max width of the entire project, then we'll set margin auto. Then for the header, for this we'll set the text to the center and then margin bottom takes it. Now for the H1 tag, I'm going to set the text to 4XL. Font will be set to bold. Then the category section. Now for this category section, we'll set margin bottom to 1. We'll set padding on horizontal on vertical to 6. Okay. Now for the list items, or for the list container, we'll set display to flex wrap, justify, center, gap of 10. Then we're going to style the list item. So for this list items, let's have a class name here. List style will be set to none, cursor pointer. Then the div tag that we have here, we're going to have a conditional styling here because we want to style based on the active category. Remember that we're displaying this container, this category card container based on category, right? So we're displaying different category. So right here, so we'll have backtick here, and we'll set position to relative. We're going to set the height to 30. The width will be 30 as well. Then we'll have border radius surrounded, full. Overflow will be set to hidden. We'll set border of 2. Transition all. And the duration will be 300. Okay. And now for the conditional styling, we'll have our, let me close this. We'll have the $sign and then our curly braces. So now I want to check if it is an active category. Then we want to do this. If it isn't, we should do this. Okay. So if it's active, Okay, so we're running into this error because we're outside the backtick. So let's inside here, press enter. Okay, so we'll have our dollar sign. Okay, so if it is an active category, then we'll do this. If it isn't, we should do this. Now, if it's an active category, we want to set the border color to amber 500, ring B2, the color be amber 400, and we'll have a scale of 105. If it isn't, then if you hover on it, the border should have amber of 400 as well. If you hover on it, the scale should be 105. Okay. Then next we're going to style the image. So for the image, we'll set the height to full. The width as well, we'll set it to full. Object, we'll set it to cover. Then we have this div tag right here. So for this div tag, we'll set position to absolute. Insert will be set to 0. Display will be flex. Item should start from the end. Justified center. Then we have this span tag, and this span tag as well is going to have a conditional styling. So we have our backtick. So we'll set the margin bottom to 2, padding on horizontal, padding on vertical, rounded, full. Text should be small. Font, we'll set it to semi-bold. Text color would be white. And then backdrop, we'll set that to blue. Now for the conditional styling, I want to check if it is an active category. So if the category is active, then we want to do this. If it isn't, we want to do this. So if it is active, we want to set the background to amber 500. If it is not, okay, the amber has a typo error. Okay. If it is not, we want to set the background to black. And then when you hover on it, group over, we're going to set the background to amber 500. Okay, so that is for the category section. Now let's see everything we've done. So we're going to mount our product lists in the home page. So we have product lists right here. So if this does not come automatically, just type it. So this is what we have. We have all the categories being displayed. Okay, so now let us display the product lists. So right here in the product listing section, so for the product list, we start with the header that will take this text, our collections. After this header, we're going to have the div tag for the product listing container, and here we want to look through the product and also filter products based on category. Okay, so right here we're going to map over the product state variable product dot. First we want to filter, so product dot filter, we'll pass product, and right here we want to check if the category is all, return all products, otherwise only return products that match the selected category. So here we're going to use a ternary operator to check if the category matches with all category, then or return all products, or return products based on the selected category. That's category. Okay, so that is for the filtering aspect. Then we want to look through the filtered products and render the products. Right, we want to look through either to display all category or to display products based on that category. So we're going to have dot map, past products, and then ID. And now we're going to display our products. Start blocking my screen. Okay, right here we'll have the div type, and that is for each category card. So to uniquely identify each of them, we'll pass the key, and the key will be the product.id. We're uniquely identifying products based on the ID, if you remember. And now in each category card, this is the card container, right? Card listing container, this div here. And this div here is each each product card. So in each product card, we're going to have an image, we're going to have the name of the products. So for this, we'll have a div type. We'll have the name of the product, the price of the product, and then the button to add to cart. So for this, we're going to have, for the image, we're going to have products dot image. For the name, we're going to have products dot name. And here we're going to have the price, so we'll have product dot price. And now to the button, it's just going to be a text, add to cart. Okay, so if we check now, we should see that we have all the products being displayed right here. You can see that we have all of the products, and you can see that our navigation bar is fixed as well. So we have all of the products right here that is being displayed. Okay, so now let us start so that this is going to look much more presentable. So we'll start with this page 2 tag, which is the header for the product listing section. And that's, we set the margin button, margin top to 6, text to 4XL, text should be at the center, margin bottom of 4, font of semi-bold. Then we have this div tag, this collection right here. Display here will be grid holds 4. So we font 4 faction. Then the product card, I'm going to set the background color to white, border, and then the border color would be gray, 200, border radius will be large, padding will be 4, we'll set transition, transform, and then we'll set duration to 200. Let me close this. Alright. Now to the image. For the image, we'll set the width to full, height will take 250 pixels, objects contain. Alright, so what's the next step now? For this div tag here, text will be direct. Now for the name, the text size will be large, font medium, text color will be gray, 800, margin bottom will be 1, and then for this p tag, text will be gray, 500, text at the center, font will be bold, and the text will be set to large. Then for our button, we'll set the width to full, we'll set margin top to full, we'll set padding on y-axis. The border color would be amber 600. Text color would be black. Border radius would be medium. And then when you hover on it, the background color would be amber 700. Now add transition and the duration will be set to 300. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so this is what we have at the end of the day. So now the category has too much space. I think the error is coming from here. Okay, justify center, not justify between. Let's see. Alright, so we're back. Now let's filter product based on category. Right now the active category is all category. You can see that there is an amber color border radius around it, and also the text. The background color is amber, right? So if I click on this now, only products that match this category will be displayed. And you can see right here that it's showing that this category is active. If I click on the men's category, only products that match men category will be displayed. And you can see it right here. If I can click on kids category, only products that match kids category will be displayed. If I click on unisex, only products that match unisex will be displayed as well. Okay, another thing we need to update is the price. I forgot to add the dollar sign. So right here, where we have price, I'm just going to add dollar sign. Okay, so this is it. Alright, now that this is done, the next thing we need to work on is ensuring that we can add products based on category. We can add products to carts, not based on category. We can add product to cart. So if we click on this add to cart button, we should see that we have an item in our cart, and it should show right here that we have an item. The button should be working, and also the cart functionality should be working. That's what we're going to be working on right now. So let's get to that. So first off, we need to create a state variable that is going to put the cart data and then a setter function to update the cart when there is a change. And by default, we're going to initialize the cart data with an empty array. So we're going to have cart setter function set cart equals to use state. We're going to initialize it with an empty array. So now after this, we're now going to create another state variable and a setter function for quantity. So the state variable is going to store the quantity of items that we have in our carts, and a setter function that is going to update the quantity if there is a change. And by default, we're going to initialize the quantity with 0. So I'm going to have const quantity setter function of quantity here, comma setter function set quantity use state 0. Also, we'll create a state variable for the total price and a setter function to update the total price, and we're going to initialize that with 0 as well. So I'm going to have const total setter function, set total use state. By default, we initialize the total with 0 as well. Then we can now start writing the functions. So the first function that we're going to write is to calculate the total price of items that we have in the carts. So we're going to be using use effect for this, so that it can run an effect whenever the price change. So we're going to have use effect, then we'll create this function right here. So the first is to use the reduce method to calculate the total price. So I'm going to have const. This variable here is going to store the total price. So total will be equals cat dot reduce, open and bracket. We're going to have our accumulator, comma, follow this logic. So first we use the reduce method to calculate the total price. Then we're converting the price to a number. So the current item price, we're converting it to a number, and then we use an if statement to check if the number that we converted is not a number, then it should return accumulator. If it returns a string, if the price as number is not a number, it should return accumulator. If it is a number, then we want to add the accumulator with the price that we've gotten multiplied by the current item times amount, then for updating the total state. And then I'm going to add cart here as a dependency array to ensure that the use effect runs when the carts change. Okay, so that is for total price. Next thing we need to work on now is the quantity of items we have in the carts. So we'll use effect for this as well. First off, we need to check if the cart is not empty. So if cart exists, then we'll use the reduce method to sum up the quantity of all the items. if the product is already in the cart. We want to return the product that is already in the cart, the ID of the product that is already in the cart. Then for this line of code right here, we're using an if statement to check if product already exists in the cart, which is the first three line of code before this. If the product already exists in the cart, we're mapping over the cart to update the quantity of the existing item. Then we also want to use an if statement to check if the current item ID matches the products that already exist in the cart. Then increase the quantity to 1. That means we have the products in the carts before, but the user still wants to add the same product again to the carts. So we're checking what the user is adding now with what already exists in the cart. If they match, then increase the quantity by 1 again. Otherwise, return the item as it is. That means add the product newly to the cart because it does not exist in the cart, right? And then if the two conditions are met, if either it exists in the cart, we re-add it to the cart. That means we increase the quantity by 1, or it does not exist in the cart, then we add it newly to the cart. We are updating the cart state with the new cart. Okay, so then we also need to check if the product is not in the cart at all. We want to add it newly to the cart. So we're going to use an else statement where this if ends. Set cart. We want to update our cart state with the new cart, new item, and then we'll display a toast notification. Toast from React Tostify dot success product added to cart. Okay, so let's see. React Tostify has been imported, but in our app.jsx, we're yet to use the toast container. So right here, I'm going to have toast container from React Tostify, and I'm going to close this right here. Okay, so back to our code. I hope this line of code is understood. We're using an if else statement to check if the cart item exists. That means this part, if it exists, if any product is already added to carts. Okay, so if the cart item exists, we'll map over the carts to update the quantity of the existing item. And we're using an if statement to check if the current item ID matches the product ID, the existing product in the cart. If the new item that the user wants to add, if it matches, then we're increasing the quantity. If it doesn't, then we want to return the item as it is and update the new cart. And if the item is not in the cart at all, then we are adding it newly to the cart. So this is our add to cart function. So the next function now, after this add to cart, is going to be the function to clear the entire cart items. So I'm going to name the function clear cart. So I'm going to have const clear carts. Okay, so to delete the entire cart, we just need to set the cart state to an empty array. So I'll use the set cart function. Then I'll set it to an empty array. And also I'll display toast notification. Toast.success cart empty. Okay, then the next function now is to write a function to remove a specific product from the cart. I'm going to name the function remove from cart. Const remove from cart will be equals to, first we need to filter out the products with the specified ID. So we need to get the products. We need to get the ID of the products that we want to remove from our cart. So we're going to have const new cart will be equals to cart dot filter item. Now we'll keep only items whose ID doesn't match, and we'll remove the item that their ID match. So we're going to return item that the ID does not match. So item Okay, so now that we have done or we've created all the functions that we need, we can now use it in our product list. So right here in product list, we need to extract the add to cart function from shop context, which we've created. So in the button, we're just going to add it right here. So we're going to use the onClick method, address it, onClick, and then we'll call the add to cart function add to cart, then we'll pass products and ID since we're adding product to cart based on product and based on the ID. Okay, and also in our navigation bar, we need to extract the quantity so that we can display the quantity on the. So we're going to have const quantity will be equals to use context shop context. So I'm just going to close this now. Now we want to use the quantity in this cart. So we want to display the quantity. So for this quantity, we'll have quantity. If quantity is greater than 0, then we should display a span tag. And the span tag will take the quantity value. So let's style this class name. Position will be set to absolute. Negative top will set it to 2. Negative right will be 2 as well. Background color will be red 500. Text color will set that to white. Text to be small, so height of 5, width of 5. Display would be flex, rounded, full, items, center. And also justify center. So we'll add justify center. Okay, so we've set up the quantity that will be displayed on the cart, and we've also added the function to add product to cart. So if we come right here now, right now our cart is empty. So I'm just going to click on this add to cart. You can see I've added 2 product to cart. If I click on this 3 product, let me reload and let's see. I'm going to add this. We have 1 product in the cart. I'll add this. We have 2 products. I'll add this. We have 3 products in the cart. Now, if I click on this cart icon, it should lead me to the cart page, but we're not yet written the code. So now, in our navigation bar, where we have the cart, I'm just going to use the link tag from React Router DOM. So we can link the cart to the routes that we already set up. Okay. So link from React Router DOM. So I'm going to cut this right here, Ctrl X, and I'm going to paste it here after this div tag. Now for this link tag, we need to set where it's going to. So this is going to the cart page. The same way we set it up here in our application.js, this app.js. So for carts, the route for carts, this is the path/cart, and that is the same thing that we must have here. Okay, so let me close this, let me close this, let me close this as well. So if I click on this now, this icon, that's not working. Okay, let's see. Link to cart, yes. Link from React Router DOM, yes. Okay, let's try it once more. I've reloaded it, so okay, you can see that it's leading us to the cart page. But our cart page is empty. That is because we have nothing to show for in the cart. But the item has been added to cart, but we're yet to display what we have in the cart on the cart page. So that is what we're going to be doing right now. So now to the cart page, or relates to the cart. Let us open our cart page right here. Now for the cart page, we need to extract values that we're going to be needing, variables and functions. So we'll start with the cart variable. Then we need the remove from cart function. We need the clear cart function. We need the increase quantity. So I think better still, let me just copy everything that we need right here. So that this will be faster. I'm just going to copy everything here and then I'm going to paste it here. So I'm just going to delete everything I have before and paste this. Okay. So we have the cart, we have remove from cart, we have increase quantity, decrease quantity, quantity, and then we have total. Okay. So those will be equal to use context, shop context. All right. So we have this now. We can now work on the cart UI. So for the carts, we have two sections, the left and the right section. So left section and then right section. In the left section, we'll have a div tag. Inside this div tag, we'll have the header, we'll have the subheader, and then we're going to have our cart items. Okay, so we're going to start with the header. For the header, we'll have a div tag. Inside the div tag, we'll have two h1 tags. So the first h1 tag will take the title shopping cart, and this right here will take items, and inside this item we want to have the quantity, that means the number of items. So we have already extracted the quantity variable, and also we need the trash icon. So I said it earlier at the beginning of the tutorial that you can use icon by either visiting the website I showed earlier, or you can just type it in. So I want to use the trash icon. I know what it looks like. So trash 2 icon, I'm using this icon right here. Oh no, it's a self-closing tag. So here on click this icon, the job of this icon is to clear the entire cart. So that is why we are calling the clear cart function right here. So once the user clicks on this icon, the entire cart would be cleared. Now to the subheaders. So for the subheader, we'll have a div tag and we'll have 4 span tags. So the first one will take product description. The second span tag would take quantity. The third one will take price. And the last one would take total. Okay, that is for the subheader. Now for the cart items. Now for this cart item, we want to display whatever we have in the cart item. But first, we need to check if there's anything in the cart at all to be displayed. If there's something in the cart, that means if the length of the items in the cart is greater than 0, they want to display the carts. That means the items that were added to the cart. If there's nothing in it, they want to display a text saying you have nothing in the cart. So cart.length, cart state dot length length if it's greater than 0, that means there's something in it. Then we want to do this. If it isn't, we want to do this. We'll start with the isn't. If it isn't, we want to display a text in a p tag that would say your cart is empty. Then next, if it is, then we are going to look through the cart variable to display the cart items. So we'll have cart dot map as item here, and for the structure item. So the structuring makes the code looks more readable. That is why we're destructuring. So the items that we want to display in the cart is we need the ID, we need the name, the price, and then the amounts. So now that we've destructured, we can now display the cart item. Oh, Control Z, enter. So return the cart item. So we'll have a div tag here. And in this div tag will be for each cart details, right? So to uniquely identify it, we use the ID. Now for the cart details, we're going to have the detail, that means the description, the image, the name, and the icon to remove a specific item from cart. We'll have the quantity control, we'll have the price, and then we'll have the total. Okay, so let me just have comments here so that we can. So cart detail, that is one. Would have quantity control, that is two. We'll have price, that is three, and then we'll have total. Now, for the cart detail, we'll have a div tag. Now, in this div tag, we'll have the image. That means the image of the item that we want to add to cart. We've destructured already, so I'm just going to pass image. If we had not destructured, it's going to be item.image, not image directly. Okay, so I missed image here. Imagine. So I'll add image here. So image, after image comes the name and the button. So that is going to be inside the div tag. So the name of the item that we're adding to cart, so I'm just going to pass name here. And then we need the button to remove item from cart, a specific item. So we're using the trash icon. I'm just going to type in trash 2. I know what the icon looks like, so I'm just going to select from what React is going to display for me, and that is going to be this icon. And then it will have a text remove in front of it. So that is for the cart details. Now to the quantity control, we'll have a div tag. Inside this div tag, we'll have two buttons, but the buttons will be separated by a span tag. So we'll have a span tag in between. Now for the first button would be for the decrement button. Okay, so and that will be represented by an icon, and the icon is this. I'm just going to type it in. The remove icon is what we want to use. I know what the icon looks like. If you do not know what your icon looks like, visit react icon.github.io react icon.github.io. Yeah. So I'm going to be using this icon right here. Now for this button, I want to ensure that once the user click on it, I'll use an click method. Then we want to decrease quantity. So I'll call the decrease quantity function, and then I'm going to pass the ID because we're decreasing the quantity of an item based on the ID. Now for the span tag, it's going to take amount. And now for the button for increment, we're going to use this icon, the add icon. So I'm just going to type in the icon, and then I'm just going to select it. Okay. Now for this icon, for this button, we'll do the same thing on click, and then we'll call the increase quantity function and pass ID to it as well. Okay, that is for the button. Now to the price. For the price, we have price, and for the total, we'll have our P tag. To get the total, it's going to be Control Z, okay. To get the total, it's going to be the price multiplied by the amount. That means the quantity of item that we have. So that's how we're going to get the price. Okay, so this is for the left section. Now to the right section. This right section will have a div tag. Inside this div tag, we'll have an h2 tag. H2. I would say cart summary. Inside this div tag, we'll have another div tag, and here we'll have 2 span tracks. Okay, now I'm going to copy this right here, and I'm going to paste it 1, 2, 3, 3 times. So for the first div tag, this first span tag, you want to have the items. The second span tag will take the quantity of the item. The second div tag will have the subtotal, and right here we want to have the total. Then this will take shipping fee, and here is going to be free, and this will take total cost, and right here we'll have $sign, and then we'll pass the total. After this div tag, we're going to have our button dot checkout. So now this is what our cart page looks like. Now I'm going to try and add items to cart. These 2 items, let's see, you can see that these 2 items has been added to cart. Okay, so I added these 2. I added this item twice. So let me reload again. Let's add this item to cart. Let's add this item and this item. We have 3 items in the cart. You can see I've added this and I've added this twice. Okay, so these are the items that we have in the cart. Now let us start the cart page so that we can see it better. So I'll start with the div tag that we have here. Max width will be 7XL. Margin auto PX6. Margin top of 26. Display will be flex direction colon. Large screen flex row. We'll set gap to 8 and the margin bottom will be 10. Let's close this. Now for this div tag, on large screen, we'll set the width to 2/3. Background color would be white. Padding of 6. Rounded large and a shadow. Now for the header, display would be flex, justify between, item center, border bottom, padding bottom of 4. Now for the first H1 tag, text size will be 2XL, font will be semi-bold. Then for this H1 tag, text size will be large. Then for this icon, text, the color of the icon will be red, 500. The size 2XL. Cursor would be pointer. Now to the sub-header. Display would be grid. Grid goes three FR, 3 faction for the first one, 1 for the second, 1 for the third, and 1 for the fourth. Okay, and the text color would be gray, 700. Font would take semi-bold. Margin top of 6. Padding bottom of 2. Border bottom. Okay. Now to this div tag that we have here for each cart item. We're going to be using the same styling that we have here. Not exactly the same, but just this. So I'll copy this and then I'll paste it here. Items center, padding of 4, border bottom, text color gray 700. And for this, display would be flex, item center, and then space on the horizontal will be 4. Now for the image, we'll set the width to 16, the height as well will be 16. Rounded, medium, object cover. Then for this H3 tag, I can choose it. Object cover right here. Okay. H3 tag. We'll set the font to semi-bold. Then the button that we have here, the color would be red, 500. Text should be small. Items center, gap of 1. Then we'll have a margin top of 2. Then for the quantity control, display flex, items center, space on X will be 3. Now for this icon, for the button that we have, we'll set the width to 8, the height to 8 as well. Background will be gray 200, rounded full. Display will be flex, item center, justify center, text to be Excel. We're going to be using this styling for the second button. So I'm just going to paste it here. Now for the span tag that we have in between both buttons, the text size will be large. Then to the price, text will be large, font will be semi-bold. Now the font here should be medium. Yeah. Then for the total price, the text will be large and the font should be semi-bold. Now to this here, text color should be gray, 500, margin top of 4. The right section, on large screen, the width should take 1/3. Background color would be gray 100, padding of 6, rounded, large. Then we'll have a shadow. Now for the H2, text large, font semi-bold, border bottom, padding bottom of 4. For this div tag, display would be flex, justify between, margin top of 4. And for the first span tag, text color should be gray, 700. And here, the font size should be medium. Okay, so I'm going to copy this styling that we have here and apply it here. But the margin top of this will be 2. I'll do the same here. Margin top of this will be 2 as well. I'll do the same here. Margin top of this would be 2. Then for the text color, we'll use the same thing here, and then here. And for this as well, we'll use the same thing here, and here. Now for the button, which is the final, we'll do with a full background color of green, 500, text color of white, padding of 3, rounded, then text of large, margin top of 4. So this is what our card looks like now. Okay, so we need to add the background color for this entire project. So for the entire body, we'll set the background color with this color code. Okay, so now we can see the color has been applied, and this is what the card looks like. Now let us test. If we click on this, the entire card has been deleted. I'm going to add this to the cart. If I click on this, remove. Okay, so I don't think we added the functionality in the remove. Let's see. To remove a specific item, shopping. Okay, let's see. To remove, where is it? For removing. Okay, it's right here for this button. Okay, so we didn't add it here. So on click, we're going to call the remove from cart. So remove from cart function. So remove from carts, and then we pass the ID. Okay, so now I'm going to click on this, and that item has been removed. I'm going to increase the quantity of this, decrease the quantity of this. You can see right here that it is reflecting the price is $45, the total is 90 because we have 2 items in the cart. If I increase it more, the price right here is 135, and everything is reflecting right here, showing here that we have 3 items in the cart. Subtotal is 135, shipping fee is free, and the total cost is 135. Now, the next thing we're going to work on is our product details page. So when the user clicks on any of these product card, it should lead them to the detailed page of that product. So let's go. So we're going to close everything relating to cards, and then I'm going to open the product details page. Now for the product details page, we need to import the data that we're going to use. Import product data. We import product data from our data file, and then in the product details page as well, we are going to add to cart. So there's a button to add to cart, so we need to extract the add to cart function. So right here equals use context shop context. So I need to import shop context. Import shop context from ./context/shop context. Okay, so we have shop context, and now the next thing we need to work on is to extract the ID of the specific product that we want to view its data from the parameter, from the URL parameter. So we're going to have const ID will be equal to use params from reactor.doc. And then the next step is to create the product variable, and that product variable is going to store this. We want to find products based on ID from our product data, this product data that we're importing here. So we want to find the match. You know that what we want to do is to view the details of the product. We want to open another page to view a specific product details, and we're fetching the ID from the URL parameter. So once we get the ID from the URL parameter, we want to be able to match it with a product in our product data set. So the ID that we're fetching here, that we want to display its details, we want to match it with the ID that matches the same thing here. So if we're getting an ID of 1 or 2 in the URL parameter, we want to display the details of that product from this product data. And the details will be displayed based on the IDs. If the ID that we're fetching from the URL matches the ID that is in the product data. So right now we're going to have products data dot find method would pass products. Then we'll check products that match products.id that match our ID. So the ID that we're fetching from our URL parameter by default is going to be a string. So we need to convert it to an integer. So we're going to have pass int. So this will be an integer. So the product ID here that we're finding from product data that matches the ID of the products that want to view its page, and we're pulling from the URL parameter. Okay, so that is it. Now we can now work on the UI. So for the UI, we're going to have two sections, the left section and also the right section. The left section will have the div tag, and inside that div tag we're going to have an image, and for the image it's going to be products dot image. That is for the left section. Now to the right section, we'll have a div tag as well, and this is where the details will come in. We'll have our h3 tag, we'll have a paragraph tag for the price, we'll have a paragraph tag for description, and we'll have a button to add to cart. So this will take product dot name. This would be for price, product dot price, and this right here will be for description, product dot description, and the button we're going to have add to cart. Okay, now for our add to cart button, we need to ensure that once user click on it, so we'll use the click method, and then we'll call the add to cart function. We'll pass product and ID. Okay, so this is what we're going to have in the product details. Now let's check the detail of this product. So if I click on this now, if we click on this now, it should lead us to the product details page, but that is not working. So that means that we need to open our product list and then link it. So if we click on the image, so we'll use the link tag from React Router DOM. And then we can now set it up. So link from React Router DOM. If you check now, it has imported right here. Okay, so this link now, we want to wrap it around the image. So this is going to be here. Then we're going to set up the link. So this link right here will be to a dynamic route. So we'll do backtick / products / curly braces, then products dot ID. Okay, so we want to view products but based on specific ID. The same way we set it up here in our application when we're setting up the path for product details / product :ID for a specific ID. So that is the same thing that we're doing here. So now if we click on this now, it should lead us right here. You can see that we have the detail of that product, and you can see / product, and then the ID is 14. So let us open the first one, / product /1. The ID of this is 1, and you can see the details of this product. Let's view the second product, the same thing. If we view the third product, the same thing. If we view the fourth, the same thing. Okay, so now let us style our product details page. So we'll start by styling the product details container. We'll set the margin top to 20, max width of 6XL, margin auto, padding of 6 on X, padding of 16 on Y, display will be flex, then we'll set a cap of 10. And then for this section here, for the left section, we're going to set on medium screen. The width should take half of the screen size. Display should be flex, justify, center. Then the image, I'm going to set the width to 460 pixels. 460 pixels. Then we'll set rounded large. Now to the right section, the data that we have here, we're going to set the width as well to this, and then we'll set the space to be 6. For the H3 tag, the text size will be 3XL, font will be semi-bold. Then for the P tag, text of 2XL, text color of red, 500. Then for this P tag, text of large, text color will be gray, 600. Then for the button, which is the last thing to style here, we'll set the background color to red, 500. Text color will be white, text size large, padding of 3, padding of 10 on X. Then we'll set rounded large and a shadow. So this is what we're going to have at the end of the day. If I click on this now, this has been added to the cards page, as you can see it now. Now the next thing we need to work on is the footer section. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to open the footer now. So now for our footer section, I'm going to delete this. We're going to have 2 div tags. So we'll start with the first one. Let me add a space in between both. For the first one, we'll have an H2 tag, and that is going to take this. After this H2 tag, we're now going to have a div tag. So this div tag would have Facebook icon. I'm just going to type in Facebook because I know what the icon looks like, and I'm just going to select from it. So I'm going to type Facebook, and React is going to suggest list of icons for me. I'm going to be using this. Then I want to use Instagram icon. And I'm also going to select from the list of icons. So I'm going to use this first one. And I want X icon, the self-closing tag. Yeah. Then I want to use the X icon. So I'm just going to type in this. Then I'm going to select from it as well. So to this section right here, we'll have a P tag here. I'm just going to take this text. Make it here 2025. All right. So now let us style. I'm going to set the background to black. Text will be white. And then padding bottom of 28. Then for this div tag, display will be flex, justify between items, center, padding of 8. Then we'll set padding on of 6 on y-axis. We'll set border bottom. Then the border color will be gray, 600. And we'll have flex wrap. Okay, so now we have our H2 tag. Text size is 2XL. Font will be bold. Now for this div tag, display will be flex. Space on X will be 4. That is space between all of them. So we're going to style this as well. Text of 2XL. Cursor pointer. Then we have this div tag here. Text to be at the center, padding of 4. Then for this, we'll set the text color. Text will be gray, 400. So this is the footer section right here, and it will be everywhere. It's going to be at the bottom of all the pages. Okay, so this is the end of this tutorial. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye. Happy New Year.